I wish good things to you who is watching this. I am Alexey, and this is almost the end of the qualification cycle for the 2025 Carcassonne Champions League, as our first match of the evening between Hognej of Norway and Bucha 4 of Croatia is about to start. This is the final of the lower bracket of the qualification 2 of the second group. So this means that this match and then one more match after this is between the players of today and the main stage of the Champions League. Each of the players have had already one loss, so they can't afford a loss anymore, which means that one of the players will advance to the final round, to the lower consolidated final of this qualification group, and to the other one we will have to say goodbye. Hognej yesterday delivered quite the upset, defeating none other than Croatia of Belgium. So I would maybe expect them to be... I'm not sure if they're the slight favorite, because yesterday Bucha played really well. I mean, both players are experts, rated in their mid-500s, so it should be a relatively close match. Before starting the match, just wanted to briefly show you the history of these players, of their qualification journeys. So first of all, Hognej defeated Larpa of Finland, his neighbor, 2-1 narrowly, then lost narrowly to the player Queen Crocodile Fundy from the United States, who's currently in the upper final. This sent Hognej to the lower bracket, where he managed to defeat the Lithuanian champion Kęstutis Kurenius, then was the upset over Crafty Raf, and now we're here. As for Bucha, a relatively similar journey, except he was actually one of the seeded players, so he was allowed to start straight from round 2, where he also defeated Kęstutis Kurenius and also lost against Crocodile Fundy of the United States. Then later defeated Hubert of Denmark. So let's see if Hognej will manage to avenge his Nordic neighbor today. And now we're here. We'll refresh and probably the game will start soon enough. Or will it? Yes, it will. As we can see, the Croatian player now with a slightly higher rating. Very fast-paced game. And a lot of tiles have been played already. Not many scoreboard points, but slight advantage from the Norwegian, who will be playing the blue meeples, I guess, to honor the blue stripe of the Norwegian flag, and also a color from the national flag for Bucha, who will be playing with his red meeples. Hi Temrak, hi Ian. So great monastery here for blue, 5 points, controlling red's roads and pre-finishing his own road. Just a fantastic position for blue. The only issue, of course, is the vulnerability of this square. If the Norwegian draws some sort of road plus city tile to place over here, then he'll block 2 of blue's meeples at once, this monastery meeple and the city meeple at the same time. But first of all, even in that case, this monastery will be already scoring 8 points, and it will be possible for blue to develop his city further. And second, this is not that likely to occur in the first place, because there are just not this many city plus road tiles. And the Norwegian will be able to defend a little bit later. So we can see that red is getting a straight line, not really finding useful ways to do it, and very interesting move from Hognej. Actually really like it a lot. So basically the point of this move is to slightly restrict this blocking square and actually severely restrict the blocking options for Bucha. But of course this meeple now becomes much more vulnerable, as Bucha can just go over here, for example. No, he doesn't. He first of all chooses to try and block Hognej's meeples, who is just stacking monasteries on top. And now, of course, he'll be able to untie over here. Very timely crossroad drone for the Norwegian. 6 points, no, 7 points even for his scoreboard for the couple of roads. 3 monasteries on the board. Just a really difficult position. But a great tile for Bucha, as he's able to do exactly that. Very nice, so restricting this square and at least trying to block these meeples further, leaving only 2 tiles that fit into this square. and then starting a new construction project of his own. Yeah, so this move by the Norwegian, I really like. I was going to suggest that I'm even sort of surprised that he found that, because it's really not that obvious. So what this does, it makes sure, for example, that a road Dorito, of which there's still 5 remaining, cannot go over here. This would, of course, block the square. It can only go over here with this orientation, which, of course, allows blue to both continue his monastery and prolong his city as well. The Croatian currently still ahead on the scoreboard as a result of his newly completed 4-point city on the right. A curve now for Hognej, probably looking to either start a new road or maybe protect the square even further, because now it's still technically possible for Buha to draw something like a starting tile or one of these guys and then block that square. But by the way, even if that happens, so imagine if Buha draws a starting tile. Well, first of all, it's a very good tile to begin with, so it would be a bit unfortunate to spend a valuable tile on blocking. But second, it will actually help blue build up this city instead. So with a couple of Doritos, there are some scenarios how blue could finish this city and even survive the blockage of these 2 meeples. Yeah, and blue chooses not to meeple the new road, but instead simply to protect the square a little bit further, to not even allow the Croatian to draw a starting tile. Now, the only blocking tile that fits into this square is the one remaining barbed wire tile, like this. Blue is now getting quick points for a road. Red is getting a Dorito tile with a variety of good uses, actually, so we definitely should use it as a value tile rather than a blocking tile. And I'm thinking either here to build up the city at the bottom, or more aggressive, we could even go over here and basically just try to run away with the city a little bit quicker. So the Croatian chooses the more patient route, recognizing that there's still many Doritos remaining. The only issue with that sort of formation is that I see that 6 out of the 8 big tiles are out. So if we're going for the usual pattern in that situation, which would be Dorito, Dorito, and triple city, we could be waiting for that triple city a long time, which would allow our opponents to block, of course. So now players trade the creation of attacking platforms. So Hognej now trying to attack this square of Buha's city, and in response, Buha is trying to block down the monasteries. And also drops a farmer with tempo at the same time. It definitely will be a field worth investing a meeple in. And this is also one of the ways how you can possibly counter the monasteries of your opponent, is if you take a stronghold on the field and then not let your opponent reinvade, then what can happen is that when they recover the meeples from the monasteries, they don't have many places on the board where they can reinvest the meeples again. And that way we can sort of artificially overcome all these massive points that are going to come from those monasteries. Wow, and Hognej here playing it a little bit risky, making it, I guess, easier to finish his city if he so chooses, but making it so that it's still possible, technically, for Buha to draw one tile in the deck that actually blocks both of these meeples. Now, I'm not sure about that move necessarily. So the good thing for blue is that there's still 3 tiles that fit here. I wonder why Buha didn't drop a second farmer, but I guess he must have had his reasons. Maybe he actually wants for Hognej to drop a farmer himself, and then Buha's gonna go over here to make sure that to keep a 2 versus 1 majority as opposed to 2 versus 0 majority. So that's sometimes a tactic that you can do if the field has 2 entry points, as we can see right now. So there's an entry point in the south, entry point in the middle. Then you can actually delay over farming the field. You can simply wait until your opponent tries attacking the field, and then you immediately re-attack. There are some cases where it can backfire. So for example, there's some scenarios how Hognej draws a road tile, goes over here, and then Buha draws something like a city plus road tile, maybe a Dorito with the road, and then he actually can't use the second platform, so then he'd be forced to pass his turn or do something else, and then it's actually the Norwegian that would be able to drop a second farmer here. So sometimes this sort of stuff happens. Hognej now with quick point tiles will go over here. Easy decision here for the Norwegian, making it much harder to complete this square, but not impossible. Still 2 tiles that fit there. And if the Croatian knows his stuff, he can actually defend that square indirectly by scoring 2 points over here. A bit of a counterintuitive move, because normally you, of course, don't want to be sticking roads into your city, but that would make it so that there would be way fewer blocking tiles that fit into that square, and many more saving tiles, and red recognizes it. And also, this is actually a really strong move with this orientation over here, because it leaves a chance to draw all the tiles over here, like this, to complete a long road for yellow, for red. 8 points extra on the scoreboard for the Croatian, and as you see how important this move was, so now Hognej had a blocking tile that would have gone over here, but now it doesn't go over here. And actually the threat of completing Red City is much more significant than it may seem. For example, if Red wants, he can actually go over here right now, and that would leave him with a 37% chance to complete the city, I believe. Instead, he chooses to attack Hognej city at the north. And so it's very interesting how the Norwegian is delaying completing that square. He really wants to wait for that city cap rather than a Dorito, because if he places a Dorito over here, then these two cities become tied, and if he completes it, of course, then the game is over. He gets a boatload of points, but if he does not complete them, then he loses 2 city meeples instead of 1. But of course, all that gives Red a bit more time to try and draw that one blocking tile, that one barbed wire tile that would block all of Blue's meeples. Of course, not the most likeliest event, and Blue is still a favorite to successfully complete that city. But let's just wait and see what happens. So Hognej is starting some sort of blocking attack, or a bit of a blocking attack on the right, so starting a new city and creating a platform to harass this red meeple over here. But now just a simple Dorito tile will make it extraordinarily difficult for Buha to complete his blocking ideas. And now actually blocks are not really possible at all, because you see, if you do get that blocking tile that I was talking about, well, then what that's going to do, that will just leave Hognej with a completed city at the top. Wow, okay, this one I'm shocked about. So the Norwegian chooses not to complete his city over here, which I think has to be a mistake. Like, okay, so you complete the city over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12 points. And you get a 9-point monastery, that's 21. And you drop a farmer, that's 6 points. So a move that adds you 27, well, like it doesn't actually add the 27 points, because the 8 points for the monastery are already there, but it's just a gazillion points. I think it's the Norwegian being unnecessarily greedy here. So if he just waits too long, you know, now there are only 2 city caps that fit over here. He could actually end up not completing all of these cities, because I think the reason why he did not want to complete this city was because there would be only 1 tile that fits over here. And this also happens to be the same tile that fits for the monasteries. But I think he wants to just complete everything, but I think it's wanting a bit too much. Sure, there's still tiles available for that, so we're talking about 3 road Doritos and 3 regular Doritos, which is actually quite a lot. It's a very nice combination thereof, but there could be a scenario where Buha just draws a bulk of these tiles, which will also come in extra damage. With extra damage, because one thing that I didn't address is this move over here by Red, which really nicely covered up this city. It is setting up a Dorito plus dagger combo. Still 2 daggers, 3 Doritos, so excellent chances for Red to finish his city. Red is actually the favorite to finish that city. Also now releases his vulnerable meeple at the top for expanding his scoreboard lead. Hognej, in the meantime, with a monastery, fantastic scoring tile, variety of options here. Could just drop a farmer 6 points, could get a 5-point monastery, instead goes over here, which is a nice move. It prevents red from easily continuing this road because red needs the dagger now in both places. There's only 2 of those available in the deck, and one of them is drawn by Hognej, which means that either this or this meeple now will be permanently trapped, or perhaps both. The Norwegian with a city cap tile, where does he place it? Doesn't really matter that much. Probably could start a new city, so it's not a very high impact tile. Buha is now starting a really nice 4-point road. Yeah, and Hognej start a new city, not in the best spot actually. I think here was a bit better. Kind of, he's creating some farming opportunities for the future, and farming opportunities of course benefit the side which has more meeples to actually use those farming opportunities. In that case, this is red. Red starts a new city at the bottom. I wonder if that placement of meeple was necessary, but let's see if that turns out to be useful. The Norwegian with the crossroad tiles, no place to score quick points. Actually, really no productive moves. Maybe just going over here, kind of closing down the position a little bit. That looks like a good idea. Yeah, that is fine. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. I probably would have preferred going over here for a variety of reasons, mainly to disallow somebody from drawing these city caps over here. Yeah, and there we go. So both tiles exchange road Doritos. Buha is setting up the completion of his city plus a 4-point road. That's a lot of points. That's 20 plus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 24 points would be added to red scoreboard. And look at that. Buha just in time gets a farmer, as Hognej will be completing his cities over here, which he absolutely should. Yeah, so the greedy idea of the Norwegian does pay off. Of course, still was an excellent chance, but he manages to complete both of his cities and the monastery. The comeback will now be incredibly hard for the Norwegian. Not impossible, though. Despite the 30-point difference, we can see that Buha gets the dagger, just not the kind of dagger that he wants. But this dagger will also help, because now blue at the very least won't be completing his monasteries over there. Hognej starting a new city, finishing an old one. Buha with a triangle tile. Yeah, the reason why I really didn't like this meeple is because even though red had the meeple advantage, the meeples aren't endless, and we will need some meeples to defend some of these fields maybe. Yeah, so he of course continues his city, but he will now be blocked immediately, or at least severely restricted. Also, an alternative that I was thinking for this move is actually just going over here, making field invasions. Wait. Yeah, I think here we should have risked a build more and just placed the last farmer on this 9-point field. I think that was a bit of a miss, because now with all his meeples back, the Norwegian will just do some pillaging and plundering on the farms. 9-point field over here. Like, even if the farms aren't joined, this is already very damaging. So I think that was a bit of a miss here from the Croatian. For any chances in this game, you gotta spend your last meeple just to secure that field, and then hope to draw the last crossroads for 2 reasons. The first reason is that we need to finish our road to get a meeple back, which we sort of kind of do, not with a crossroads, but with even better tile. Okay, so now there's still hope. Well, not anymore, as the Norwegian draws the tile that fit over here. So that's really unfortunate here for the Croatian. I mean, would have definitely made for a much more interesting game with 24 extra points on the scoreboard. But the reason why this is such a good tile for the Croatian is that he gets a meeple back and everything, but also he now has a majority on a very big farm. And I'm pretty sure he's now going to go and try re-invade, maybe here or so. And he also has a chance to get a crossroads, which would 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4. There are even 2 of these guys remaining in the deck that would go over here, expand the farm, and also eat up the 9 points of this meeple. Of course, Norwegian drops another 6-point farmer. So there is still plenty of ways to make sure this game is concluded by the Norwegians' victory. For example, scoring quick points is one of them, but I think a strong move is actually going over here and meepling this 5-point road, with the idea that if Red wants to go for the idea of eating up Blue's meeple with the crossroads, then a Red will be forced to complete the road for the Norwegian and give the Norwegian meeple back, and then he will just score and score and score, and the field will simply be not big enough to overcome all the scoring lead. Hi Hugo, hi Wise Maze. Yeah, so this is referring to this move over here. So when obviously Hognej refused to complete his city, Wise Maze is saying that it's not risky. 80% chance for Hognej drawing Dorito Splitter before Buha draws CRRR. Yes, that's right. So I kind of expected those kind of odds. Maybe I would expect a bit more 80-20 rather than 85-15. But the question that you could ask yourself back in that position as Norwegian, is 85% really good enough? Because this is how good the Norwegians' position was. By just finishing the city and dropping a farmer there and the monastery, like, you already ensure such a big advantage, and you even have a 50-50 chance to finish it another city. Because, like, of course, now the Norwegians' plans was a success, and he'll win with a lot of points. But in Carcassonne, you don't necessarily win with a lot of points. You just want to win with the amount of the right amount of points that you need. Without necessarily, but just with a greater percentage of surety. Wait, also Wise Maze, by the way, when we were talking about this, he didn't just need to draw the Dorito, he needed to draw a combo. That's a bit different. There were 3 Doritos with the road, and there were 3 Doritos with the field. So basically you need to draw a combination of those. And the issue is just not so much about being blocked, but Buha can draw either 3 road Doritos or 3 field Doritos. And that is probably going to be enough to make sure that Hognej doesn't complete any of his cities. Any of his 3 features, actually. So there's like a 15-ish percent chance, maybe even a little bit more, that he would end up with all 3 features blocked. And then the Croatians' position would be looking very good. Okay, yeah, so the players, of course, making some inconsequential moves. I mean, Hognej chose the farming route to ensure the game. I wonder if there's any way for the Norwegian to lose. I don't think there is. I don't know quite what the last tiles are, but I think still Buha has to just go over here and take the 5-point road and simply pray that Blue will not be able to connect over here or over here to gain equality. That's exactly what he does. Blue, sadly for Red, gets the curve, so he will be even equalizing the field, but this does not change the fact that the Croatians still had to try. Sadly, it will be a big difference, so it will not, the score will not reflect how close the game actually was. There were still plenty of chances for both sides. You know, this city didn't get completed. This farm obviously will end up tied. Yeah, look, that was actually an excellent idea by Buha here. If he were to draw the curve, he would be going over here, getting 3 extra points, and he would be preserving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the field. So he would have had 24 points more, actually. Something like this. Or around 24. So let's see what the point difference would have been. Actually would have been really close. Yeah, so it would have been just a 9-point game, I believe. So 35 points is the difference. Yeah, so the difference would have only been 11 points had Buha won the coin flip. So, still plenty of chances for both sides. All right, very exciting game to start. Let me just remember to update the scoreboard before continuing. Reminder to y'all, as y'all probably know, everything's in a best-of-3 format here. So, in order to win this, Filip Buhinicek of Croatia will need to win the next game and the game afterwards. As for the Norwegian, just winning this one game will be enough to send him in the consolidated finals and to send the Croatian metaphorically home. Of course, it's an online tournament. Everybody already is home, I would presume. Alright, let's try refresh and see if the second game has started, and yes, it has. 0 minutes ago. Okay, the Norwegian with the starting player advantage, taking 4 points, but the first monastery for the Croatian and a proud red meeple is placed right in the center of the map. New city for Hognej. Difficult move for Buha. He chooses to meeple the city. Controlling the road next to his monastery. 3 quick points will go to Hognej, expanding his scoreboard lead to 7. Both players wish each other good luck in the chat, without, of course, very meaning it, of course. Yeah, I like this move. The Croatians start a city in a slightly risky way, but that's also a very, very efficient building pattern, because you'll be getting not only 2 city points, but 2 monastery points as the result. This is exactly what happens. The city will be now finished in a heartbeat. A new one will be started. A farmer here also makes sense. I still am generally not a huge fan of leaving empty city caps, even if you're claiming the field. Actually, no, I like this farmer. Yeah, I like this farmer. The main reason is that if you meeple the city cap, there's some nasty moves that your opponents can make by going over here, for example, dropping a farmer themselves and try to put pressure on both squares. So it makes sense to leave that coin flip open, and the position is suddenly looking pretty good for red as well. The early farmer will cover already 2 completed cities for 6 points, probably a third one for 9 points, and plenty of green squares to develop this field further. So the Norwegian actually might take care of business right away, go over here and invade this farm. This would also set up a blocking platform against the city. This would set up a nice 3-point road to grab for the future, potential 6-point road over here through a full loop. I think that would be kind of nice. Instead, he starts another road, which I don't really like, because then it's under control of the Reds monastery. But what this move does achieve, oh no, that's not a good move, not a good move at all. Like, when you have an 8-point, I know that the principle of 2 cities is great, but this only works when the cities are in a safe position. This is just unnecessary risk. So Red could have simply finished his city, maybe even drop a second farmer, added those 8 points on the scoreboard. What this move does, it allows Blue to invade his city with any tile, and like it also allows Blue to take advantage of some quite bad tiles actually, such as the cows or the Doritos with the field, where otherwise he would not be able to use productively. So now, of course, he doesn't get an invasion tile, he gets a restriction tile, trying to block his meeple, trying to invade the field. He will now succeed. You know, he will do the usual shtick of finishing the city, dropping a farmer. There's, of course, another move available is going over here, trying to set up a Dorito and drop a farmer like this to sneak in into the field from the right. That is also possible. Yeah, also the reason why I don't like this move, it sets up a nice 4-point road next to Blue's monastery, which really only Blue can take advantage of. It makes this square next to Blue's monastery slightly more vulnerable, but this difference is so marginal that Honestly, this one mistake is something that could cost Red the game and the match. Because, for example, this square now is a bit more vulnerable than it may seem at first. There's still plenty of city caps that fit into that square, and I don't think I quite understand the players' moves here. I mean, I do understand them. They're just, how to say, I don't think these are the best moves. So this one's understandable because blue simply just is afraid of his monastery being blocked. Also, now it's completely beyond me how blue does not drop a farmer here. Like, it cannot possibly be correct. The field is just too good. It already has 9 points, and blue has a multitude of meeples that are available for him to attack the field and then some. There are 2 entry points from here into the main field, so it's very easy to do something about this. Yeah, so now players are building roads on the side, and the Croatian actually might think about going over here and securing the field. Maybe we're just a bit too short on meeples to do that kind of stuff just yet, but there's some other options. So, for example, a move that I like is going here and to start putting pressure on this square. So what we want ideally as red, we want to try and draw crossroads to take 2 points and pre-complete our monastery, and at the same time restrict or possibly even block blue's little road. And this is exactly what is in the process of happening. So red is setting up an opportunity like this. Yeah, and also back to this, this square is more vulnerable than it seems, because 2 out of the 3 dagger tiles that would fit there, actually no, all 3 daggers are out. So this square is extremely vulnerable. So for example, imagine if red gets something like a city cap, then red cannot even afford to go over here and score 4 points, because then with almost any tiles in Norwegian's hands, blue will go over here and block this square permanently, because again, 1, 2, 3, all 3 daggers have gone out. This is an extremely dangerous city, and it has become even more dangerous as the Norwegian drew one of the Croatian out, one of the starting tiles fit into this square, but a great tile for Buha to actually expand his city and try to correct his previous mistake. Wait. Yeah, let's try and go to a larger screen as the players are building a vertical map. There's a city starting at the bottom that expands the limits of what's possible on this map. Hi, Pichan. So a new city tile for the Norwegian. Not sure if I see good moves. Maybe just finishing his city would be fine. Going over here, trying to attack Red City would also be fine. Going over here and dropping a farmer again is an opportunity, as it also pre-finishes this road. It allows this nice curve pattern. Or, of course, it allows, in case of the blockage of this square, there's still a chance to invade the field over here. Okay, instead he makes a move which on one has, let's say it has downsides and upsides. And Buha just comes up with a spectacular response. It was an amazing move by the Croatian. I'll tell you why in a second. So 4 quick points go for Hognej, and again the obstruction of this square. Still has a couple of tiles available, just not this one. Man, the poor Croatian is just plagued. There's a strong move available in this position. Let's see if he finds it. It's actually going over here. So, let's start. Like, the upsides of this move is that it starts a new city in a safe place with still plenty of city caps available to prolong or complete these 2 cities. And it also pre-finishes this road. So again, it allows for this curve plus curve pattern eventually. The downsides are twofold. First of all, the square is still a bit vulnerable, as proven by Bucha's amazing move over here. That's actually quite defined. And he also found the follow-up, which is really, really high-level stuff here. Now, the reason what these two moves do, in addition to starting a 4-point road, this is a pre-block. So if blue draws one of the, if red draws one of many curves, red's gonna go over here, and then this guy will be blocked forever because there are no daggers available. So this is just recognizing the unusual pool of unseen tiles at the moment, because so many of the dagger tiles have gone out. So 3 out of the 3 left-handed daggers and 5 out of 6 daggers in total, that new blocking possibilities emerge that normally would not be possible in this stage of the game. And this also makes sure that only a curve can fit here. Well, there are also a couple of other tiles, but mostly a curve can fit there, and not something like this. And it also does not allow the Norwegian to maybe get a tile like this and try to block this square further. Instead, the Norwegian chooses to block red city, try to prevent it from completion. Red doesn't really have a lot of going on, tries to create a blocking platform against blue. Blue finishes his monastery, starts a new one. Fantastic tile for blue, 9 more points on the scoreboard for a 18-point lead. But now Bucha gets 9 points for the monastery on his own and completes this pre-block. What a beautiful, beautiful sequence here by the Croatian. There isn't any tile that fits into that square, and yeah, just a excellent board vision. So let's see if it will help him actually win this game and prolong this series, as the Norwegian takes quick points and expands his lead to 12 scoreboard points. Scoring tile for Bucha, variety of options. We could either score 2 points for the road, 3 for the other road, get a meeple back, which is exactly what he does. There were some other options. We could also go over here, sort of protecting this square a little bit. He just chooses to get a meeple back immediately, only 7 points behind on the scoreboard. And still control of the field. Yeah, so the other downside, the main downside of this move from Hognej was the fact that this platform for field attack is no longer available, because there's no way to drop a farmer over here anymore. Well, because this square is now filled. So, tricky situation for blue when it comes to equalizing the field. But I think blue's main idea will be to try and win this game without touching the field even. Red with an interesting move, prolong his city indirectly rather than directly. Yeah, I'm not such a huge fan of that, but I can see the purpose of this too. So the reason why I don't like this move is, of course, it allows instant blocking attacks with a curve. But the thing is, like, if you do the traditional move and go upstairs and start a new city over there, then what's going to happen is that a curve would also block the square permanently. But the reason why I still would have preferred going over here as Bucha is because any road tile is really, really damaging at the top as well. So it looks like a standard minor restriction, but given that such a large number of city plus road tiles has gone out, it will actually be, there are some scenarios possible where the Croatian gets his Dorito to fill this square, but then this square gets blocked. As the Norwegian draws yet another city plus road tile, the penultimate barbed wire tile, there are no starting tiles available, and there's only 1 dagger available, and it happens to be not the dagger that fits over here. Yeah, so actually I think this is what's going to happen. I think Bucha now needs to do something like this. Or maybe this. Maybe it makes sense to block that square as well. Yeah, well, tricky situation for the Croatian actually. Even though his field is worth his nice 12 points and he has blocked his opponent's road and he has also tried and kind of started blocking his opponent's city, that's all nice. It's just the scoreboard lead that makes me uncomfortable if I'm a fan of Norway here. Hi, Crafty Raf. Hi, Afonso. Thank you for the kind words. And Crafty, for, you know, supporting the Norwegian player, who, by the way, drew just a fantastic tile. Not only it is one of the Doritos that fit into that square, so now Buha's chances of completing the city have reduced, but it is a great tile for his own purposes as a 7-point city at the bottom, and still some reasonable chances of getting completed is what happened. Hognej now will go over here, block the square for good, and deny the Croatian his city, which, by the way, could have been completed for 8 points and then some way earlier in the game. So I've made that mistake before myself, where you try to overcomplicate the game. Sometimes just the simple move of simply completing a normal city that works out just fine. So blue, with a blocked 7-point city as well, this move makes sure there's nothing that fits into that square, because again, the left-handed daggers have gone out. Red has some decent chances of maybe getting the one and only barbed wire tile, which would give him 1 point for the city and 6 points for the lovely road, and would also add some more green squares into his field. Hognej now with an excellent opportunity to blow this game wide open by adding himself a monastery point, equalizing the two roads, his shorter road with Red's longer road. This would expand Red's field, but it would also make this field much easier to attack. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, given the fact that there are 4 regular curves still remaining, we could go the scoring route, go over here, start a new road, then draw a curve, and this is exactly what he does. I really like the aggression over here. Strong move from the Norwegian. Buha will now finish his city, so now he knows that it's better to finish the cities when you can in some situations, certainly one of them, as we're running short on city caps. Not the greatest tile for Hognej. He can still go for this if he wants to, but maybe just adding 2 points is a little bit better, as this 9-point ruin is really worth something. Great tile for Buha, as he will be able to block Hognej's meeple here, not permanently, not necessarily, and he has a really strong response here. Let's see if he finds it. There's still one dagger that fits into this square, because that's the right-handed dagger in this instance. And what Hognej can do, he can just go over here. Nah, well, I mean, it's okay. Adding 1 point is also okay. It's actually a completely decent move. It adds 1 point to his monastery, and it creates a platform for somebody to, well, for him to attack the field if he wants to. And now he can go over here if he wants. So the idea behind this move is pre-building a 6-point city, which only he can benefit, because, you know, there's still a dagger that fits into this square, which he would use to get a road and stuff. So he might as well just go over here and hope to not only get his road meeple back, but also snatch a 6-point city at the same time. Or he might just do something more neutral and drop this tile, maybe covering up the ruin entirely, just capping it at 7 points, but making sure that Buha cannot invade. Because actually, imagine if Red draws the dagger tile that fits over here. Red can go over here, and then with the Dorito tile equalize this 9 points, which is absolutely worth the investment of a red meeple here. So a move like this is not entirely unreasonable either. Instead, he just drops the city cap at the top, trying to block the 6-point road opportunity for Buha. Buha with a shielded tile, probably some time to score, so we could either start a new city and hope to run away with it. I like that idea. Try to bring an 8-point city to close to a quick completion, although we're running short on city cap tiles. I'm not sure if I would do that necessarily. Or just going over here, taking a 6-point ruin with some chances for expansion. No. Does that work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe. I don't think there's enough time to build a city like this. Well, let's see if he proves us wrong. Buha with a curve. Hognej with a splitter tile that allows him nice 4 points and also blocking this road opportunity for his opponent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 3 Doritos I think should be remaining. Hognej with the road monastery. Fantastic tile. I think it should make all Norwegian fans really, really happy. I mean, we could just go here and, like, why don't we just take the immediate points? And, well, there's some reasons not to. This would be spending our last meeple, but so what? Yeah, he just adds 1 point to himself. The Croatian gets the last curve, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, there's still 1 more remaining, so maybe we can just go here. Make sure to block that square a little bit. That would be an option. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. This is exactly what happens. This is also why I would have preferred a monastery over here. It would have already been worth 8 points. And, like, can you really score more than 8 with 1 meeple? I guess you can go here and score 6. But 6 is not as much as 8. Yeah, also with this move over here, I would have definitely preferred the 7-point ruin as Buha, because it's difficult to complete that city, really. And if you're going for completed cities, then you have your city caps available to you. Because I think one thing that you have to realize at the Croatian, that you had to realize, that if you are to get both Doritos to complete your city, this means that your opponent gets the other tiles, and the other tiles are city caps. So when you're a bit behind, what you need to make sure is that if you're hoping for a particular tile, that the remaining tiles are not that good for your opponent, because you might be hoping for Doritos, but if the remaining city caps, if the remaining tiles are scoring tiles, then your opponent will manage to score if you manage to score. Well, I guess you get the idea. Now a quick point tile for Buha, 4-point road looks about as best that he can do. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe invading here makes sense. If this Doritos tile is still available, I believe there is still 1 of those remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are there 2 Dorito tiles? Oh yeah, this makes it even more worth it. Well, the first one goes to Hognej. Again, I want to recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's still 1 of those remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's a triple city tile as well. So, nice opportunity here for the Croatian to hang on to something in this game. The 15-point scoreboard just appears to be a little bit too much. The 12-point field is nice, but 12 is less than 15. Hi, Elias. Elias is suggesting city plus field for 10. I'm not sure exactly. Oh, excellent tile for Buha. Buha can go for it. How about we go over here and we try for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, there's still 1 triple city tile remaining. And we need to try for the 40%er. Because what else do you have to lose? And we go over here, we overrun this ruin, and we get like 13 points or something. We have to try that. Excellent recognition from Buha. 1 tile and 1 tile only remaining. 50-50 chance for him to go there. Hognej now needs to count very carefully. Can he still outrun his opponent? Does he have to go here in order to win? I don't think he has to, actually, because I think he has a winning path through just getting this dagger tile. Buha with the monastery. Can he defend? No! Because the tile that fits here is a city plus road tile. So he just simply needs to hope. And Hognej will now manage to complete the block. Of course, he won't go over here. And Buha didn't have the tile anyway. Yeah, Hognej won the coin flip, but still, after this move, actually, the game was pretty much, well, the game wasn't really lost. What Buha needed to draw, he needed either to draw this tile immediately, or he needed to draw this dagger tile, first to deny the meeple to blue, and second to place an indirect defense towards the square. But also excellent recognition from Hognej here, turning this curve like this and not the other way. That's actually the only that's the way that gave him the best winning chance. So definitely some credit for quick counting and spatial vision goes to the Norwegian. And well, we have not the best week for Croatia. One Croatian player eliminated yesterday, the other today. So we're going to have a Croatia-less Champions League in 2025. Hopefully we will see Philip again sometime on stream, maybe as part of the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, maybe as part of the Mind Sports Olympiad in late January or early February, I believe, or wherever that was. I think that was February. Yeah, so 18-point difference. But actually this means that if the city were to be, if Buha's plan were to be successful, then the Croatian player would win. Because what happened is that Hognej managed to preserve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He managed to preserve his 10 points. And he also denied 12 extra points for Buha. So this tile represented a 22-point swing in a position, which means that the Norwegian correctly identified the game-deciding nature of that move, went for the block, and was rewarded, as there were very few defense tiles available for Buha. He didn't happen to draw one of them. And after this monastery draw by the Croatian, actually the game was completely decided, because no matter what Hognej draws, with all the available tiles for him, with all the remaining available tiles, he was just able to go here and block, which is exactly what he did. Afonso saying blue should have got the ruin on the right with 6 points and closed the game for sure. Yes, this is true. So red could have gone there, blue could have gone there. I think really a missed opportunity. Yeah, because the problem with that move, it sort of starts blocking an invasion, but like, it seems to me that many players, many even expert level players, even many master level players, sometimes make the mistake of thinking tactically when they should be thinking strategically. Like, when you are in the endgame, the only question that you answer is like, which move gives me the best chance of winning the game? That's it. Because closer to the endgame, you can actually know the answer to that question. And the point being that the invasion of Buha that would help him share the city would not have been enough in all likelihood. So as blue, our best course of action is probably simply just to allow the invasion and do something else. Because this allowed, of course, a risky opportunity for red, but had red been successful, we would have seen a major comeback. Yeah, so, but of course, like, normally, if this thing were happening in the middle of the game, then this is a completely reasonable move, because, you know, why not try blocking your opponents? Because then in the middle of the game, when the wind conditions aren't clear, then, you know, trapping your opponent with 1 point certainly has a lot to add to your winning chances. Yeah, and then sadly we see, I think, the move that lost Buha the game. Really, quite a lot of mistakes from both sides actually in this game. So both mistakes from both sides, but also quite a couple of brilliant moves. So really like this blocking sequence by Buha to give him the long-term meeple majority and the chance in this game. That was just excellent recognition. Something worthy of the Japanese player with the screen name Keither. I wonder if Buha has been studying his games. And very nice blocking sequence from the Norwegian towards the end. But yeah, of course, I think the move that lost the Croatian the game was simply the opening move, the over-application of the principle of two cities. Again, been there, done that. I've learned my lesson. Hopefully the Croatian also learns theirs, because what this move did, it failed to complete that 8-point city and, you know, maybe even get a stronghold on the farm. Then as a result, the city got blocked, and just like even before it got blocked, it was suffering throughout the rest of the game. Like actually Red also devoted a lot of resources trying to defend that city as well. That's also the tragic part about this. And because Red had his meeple stuck over there, the strategy of just dropping two farmers and developing the field didn't really quite work. Because obviously with this farmer, like this 12-point field is great, but if it were to get any bigger, then suddenly there would be always all these invasion points for the farm, and that's why Red couldn't really afford to make it much bigger. But with these completed cities, you know, these squares are not there. There's some probably more green squares on the left. We can drop a second farmer and just like keep dropping all those nice dividers into the field, and getting point, and sort of winning the game in quite a normal, like classical fashion if we just simply get enough city caps to do that. So yeah, commiserations to all of our Croatian fans, although still a spectacular performance, especially yesterday. Still a lot of wins needed to happen for the Croatian to even be there in the first place, and we'll be looking forward to seeing them again, but we will be looking forward more to seeing Hognej in the consolidated finals. They're now one step away from being in the Champions League. They will just need to defeat whoever loses the upper bracket finals, either Kaiko of Malaysia, who again managed to defeat none other than Crafty-Ref, so certainly a player to be reckoned with, versus the United States player with the screen name Crocodile Fundy. Actually, out of these three players, I would say that Kaika probably is the slight favorite to go on straight to the Champions League, and in the consolidated finals, it's really going to be 50-50. We'll try and stream that if we can. The match for Kaika 87 and Crocodile Fundy has already been scheduled for 23rd of December at 2 a.m. UTC, so chances are will be that I will not be streaming that. However, there is an exception possible if there are some chances maybe if I just like have a short day and don't feel like sleeping. Basically, if I happen to be awake at this time, I will stream it. But hopefully the chances of this are not that great. So if there's going to be a stream of that game, it will be at a short notice. Alrighty. So we will be, first of all, updating the score at the end. Yeah, of course, I need to remember to do that. Even though the stream is about to be over, it's just nice to be a bit more pedantic, just so that the Norwegian player gets his 2 on the board. And the scoreboard is already ready for our main match of the evening. It's not going to happen now. It's going to be happening in 4 hours. Baziluk versus Setsugento. That's Maxim Baziluk of Ukraine versus Kaimichi Shita of Japan, national champion of 2023, and an extremely high rated player on Board Game Arena, so this should be incredibly interesting. That's why I even got a special guest for that endeavor, and in 4 hours we shall meet. Make sure to meeple the like button before you leave for the algorithm to bring in more new players and viewers to the scene of competitive Carcassonne. In case you are one of those new here for the first time, make sure to subscribe if you're interested in seeing content like this more than once. There's a lot of these matches coming up. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'ma see you soon.